that we've set ourselves. That all you need to do is to be able to use fire and foul means to hold on to power. And to hand over power to your own party. We worship party more than the country.
You'll be covered.
And you'll be covered. We worship party more than the country. Whatever helps the party, whatever secures us as individuals, the rest can go to hell. That's all they've been doing. And Buhari, everything he's doing now, that demonstrates that. He's never addressed anyone about the killings that went on. He's never, even as of today, we still have people being killed. People being kidnapped. One of the last time Buhari faced the cameras
to address that
took
issue
to the nation or said, okay, state broadcaster, I want to address my people as Nigerians. This is what I promised. This is what we are delivering. These are the challenges and the difficulties we're still facing. These are the proactive steps I'm taking for my government to be able to secure it. I need your help. I need your assistance. And we can't do this alone as a president. I know I promise this, but I promise it based on, the mindset that I will rely on you people. Come with me, Bono State, come with me, this village, and let's fight these crimes together. But you never do it. You never do it. Actually, it just tells you the kind of leaders we produce. And the unfortunate thing is that you have a chunk of the youth who still follows
them. Of course.
Future, what do you call it? I call it our future skeletons. You know?
Well, are they future skeletons or what? Well, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Bringing the time now to 11:29. Updates from Nigeria with Mr. Frank Davis. As I said, Mr. Olayomi is caught up somewhere, but if he has a chance, he will be joining us. If not, just stay tuned while we continue to look at the issues going on. All right, then. So moving on straight to one other story. Those of you on the YouTube, I think you're having a bit of a challenge there, but just bear with us. We're trying to sort it out for you. We'll sort it out for you, so just bear with us. Now, the Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, yesterday came hard on members of the House of Representatives investigating claims that the country lost over $2.4 billion revenue from alleged illegal sale of 48 million barrels of crude oil exported in 2015 to China. Now, Malami, who described the ad hoc committee constituted to investigate the claim as unconstitutional, said the allegation was baseless, unfounded, and lacks merit and substance. Now, recall that the House had in December last year resolved to constitute an ad hoc committee to probe the allegation when it adopted a motion sponsored by Isiaka Ibrahim from Ogun State as plenary. Now, the committee was also mandated to investigate all crude oil exports and sales by Nigeria from 2014 to date. With regards to quantity, insurance, revenue generated remittances into the Federation accounts or other accounts, as well as utilization of the revenue for the period under review. Now, Ibrahim has said in the motion that a whistleblower alleged in July 2020 that he had in July 2015 brought to the attention of the committee purportedly set up by the president for the recovery of missing crude oil exports. The existence of 48 million barrels of Nigerian burning light crude oil in a storage at several ports in China under authorization of the then Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, that's the NNPC, to sell the cargo. Now, we just talked about somebody in the UK who, because of conflict of interest, I mean, we don't have any proof that he had anything to do.
It's not even conflict of interest. This is perceived. Perception. Just perception alone.
He has ended up resigning.
That's it.
Now, this is a case where a committee has been set up. Now, the committee has come out to find out that $2 billion went missing from 48 million barrel sales of crude oil to China. Now, I remember last year or early part of this year when there was this story as well where they were saying that they found pipes that are supposed to supply crude oil into ships, and those ships come to the Nigerian shores or in the Nigerian waters, and then they are loaded and they go. Meanwhile, It's not like maybe a barrel, me taking a bucket or a gallon to go and fetch. We're talking about the whole ship there, and it's being loaded, and it goes, and people cannot account for it. And this man come to sit here to say this.
You say, Archie, you, myself, Olayomi, most of our listeners over here, Bishop, I don't think we have the technical capacity, nor even the financial manpower. The financial power to be able to say we are laying a pipe to divert or tap into the national pipeline and divert part of that oil to another field in the sea.
No way, we can't do that.
To be able to do that, someone must be involved in turning the oil, turning the taps off first before we do the connection. Someone must be involved in transporting those parts and hiring engineers, marine engineers, experts, to be able to lay that pipe to a point where cargo can dock on the sea and then get the oil supply to them. Archie, it's a sophisticated operation that you and I have no clue. And to be able to do that, it's gonna take a whole setup of people to be able to do it. I'm not surprised that we now have representatives who are supposed to be police over public interest to say, okay, this belongs to the public. We are policing it and we are safeguarding it and we are jealously protecting it with our lives based on the confidence the people have reposed in us by voting for us. But here we are, someone who should know better condemning the committee of the whole report. Because the preliminary decided that, look, we want to set up a committee to investigate it. That preliminary is represented by the people, fairly or unfairly. But once they've taken a decision at that preliminary, if he has a problem, he should be challenging them. He should have raised those issues then. Is it because he was involved Jonathan's time? Is it because he has or he's directly benefited from that and think that it's not coming to bite him? Actually, I would think the community should speed up with their work. And whoever is involved, they should speed up. Even if, I am not a fan of Buhari, but if this is what Buhari is going to do as a last minute action,
before he bows
authorize immediate arrest of those involved, be it a governor, a senator, a representative, or whatever, then so be it. Archie.
But you know, interestingly, since Buhari came to power, I mean, when he was coming, we were thinking that he was going to imprison lots of people who have squandered state funds and stuff like that. But we've not seen anything of the sort.
Rollins made a comment which still is true today. Scratch your back and I scratch your back. That is it. So that's what they do. We recall in Ghana, when our Tamils came in, we saw Tony Edu even gotten frustrated about a lot of reports about scandals that Ghanaians were expecting what they call prosecution from Tamils and his government, which ended up just being dust collectors on their desks. So I will not be surprised that gentlemen agreements have gone on. And look, actually, there are politicians like this, whether it's CPP and DP, they go to the same restaurant, they chase the same women, they take the same flights, they use the same financial advisors. Are you getting me? They use the same kind of people. So sometimes they come to the public, they come and shout like dogs, bark like dogs, just to tell us, oh, I'm a DPP, I'm a Labour Party, I'm this and therefore. Yes, a few of them stands out and must be celebrated. So that we do not push them. Most of them don't shine the way they must because of the work they are doing. But the majority of them are basically footballers who play on different sides.
The most they can do is they do your thing.
They go to the same. They go to the same gym to train.
Wow! You know? It is sad. It is sad when when let's take a place like Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Let's take a place like Kuwait or the United Arab Emirates.
Yeah.
And look at the way they use their money and stuff like that. If they are behaving that way, Frank, I wouldn't say, because they take care of their people. Look at what was happening in Libya during Gaddafi's time. So even if you come to say that Gaddafi is been building something somewhere, I say forget about it, because why? He's taking care of his people with the resources that he's getting. But
actually, that's the difference. Look, some will tell you the Saudis are very, very rich. Some will tell you the royal family in Saudi, or the ruling family in Saudi are so rich. Yes, there's no doubt that they are taking a lot of the money that is generated from, their oil revenues, because by the structure of their government and the structure of the kind of governance system that they use. But actually, they also are accountable.
That's right.
You look at the fund like Saudi fund, what they're doing. They look at what they do for their people in terms of infrastructure. Look at Dubai. Look at what they've done.
Yeah.
Are you getting me? Look, even if you are not sharing the money with the people, give them a sense to know that at least we also are human beings,
making something from
human beings who must also enjoy some benefits of being humans. One, why should they continue to be driving on dust roads, causing them health implications, when there's money or someone has been given contract to construct that route? Nigeria is a country and no contracts are, Nigeria and Ghana, contracts are awarded to construct routes. The budgets are allocated, the money is disbursed, but the project the project do not exist. The project do not exist, and I know this because of my friend who became an auditor in one of these things. Are you getting me?
Yeah.
Nigeria is the only country, Nigeria, let me say Ghana, when you are called to form a company and shut up, take this, produce, go to this person, see them, let them open an account for you, and take this and forward this to this account. That's the only thing. Are you getting me, Archie? I ask to be honest with you, something that I don't know. Prayers can also, there's a prayer can solve everything, but this one, God,
someone say that the prayers can solve.
What can we do with this situation? Have we got to the point where actually we cannot? Are we going to remain in this situation do I want to see my great grandchildren, when I'm dead and gone, still in this situation, or even worse situation? Actually, I fear for the future. I genuinely fear for the future. And you see, what it then does is that it gets to a point you are forced to pursue only financial objectives. Because if you don't do that, then your children are going to suffer. So then we become a vicious cycle where we all individually then begin to abandon our societal the little bit of societal good call that might be in us, that let's do good for the neighbor, let's do good for the society. Nigerians will tell you, I didn't come to London to look at teams, to pursue money. So if we're going to do that, then actually a lot of us will be forced to do things that ordinarily will not be done, but just to pursue the goal of making money and more of it.
Now let me digress a bit. We'll come to one final story before that's Nnamdi Kanu's charges that government is going to be labeling against me again. Now we look at this kind of democracy, the democracy here in the UK, look at the democracy in some of the Western world, and how it's very vibrant. And everything, scrutinizing everything going on perfectly. And some say that, well, with what we have, let's hold on to it, because this one it's not 2 weeks ago or 2 years ago or 10 years ago or maybe 50 years ago. It's been there for ages, 100 years plus. So before they evolved to get to this place. Now, do you think we are also charting the same path where come another maybe 50 years we'll get to this place as these people have gotten to?
Actually, we used to say 300 UK democracy about 300 years, 400 years ago. If you think that Ghana, for instance, we over 30 years, so that's about 10%.
We are baby.
That's about 10% of that. Okay, granted. Actually, there's also this saying, we can't reinvent the wheel. We can't reinvent the wheel. So true. So at the end of the day, we are not going to be thinking of a system of governance that we have to use. The system has been designed. It's not a mathematical formula, or probably a formula to produce a car.
Yeah,
we want to produce Jeep, Grand Cherokee. The design and everything is there. All we need to do is to take it, follow the principles, the materials that are needed to be done, and then we do it. We don't tell me because Jeep have been producing, they've been producing Jeep for what you call it,
100 years. So
100 years, and therefore it has to take us 100 years to produce a car similar to Jeep. We will be stupid and we'll be fooling ourselves. It's never going to happen, Archie, and that is not what we should do. I also do understand that, Archie, when you go to a party, is someone having a party for me? I'm using parties a lot.
I think this weekend you'll be going for some parties.
I want someone to take me out then. Archie, if you go to a party and the party is supposed to last for 5 hours, the first time you get there, when people are arriving, the DJ start playing music, and the tunes the DJ is playing are not something that anyone is happy for. The DJ is rubbish. And you are telling me that if the DJ plays for 3 hours, by the 4th hour he will be perfect. Actually, you end up tuning. You will be deceiving yourself. If you waiting if you're waiting for the 5th hour or the 4th hour for the DJ to start playing songs that are going to get people excited, forget it. Because actually, if the party is going to, the music that will start welcoming the guests on the party ground alone will tell us that when you wait to the 3rd hour,
you'll be enjoying the party.
You'll be enjoying, and you enjoy to a point where you don't want to leave. That's why we say, DJ, play us on. No, let's roll it back. But you get there, the person is playing you music. Actually, you are quickly enough to show your face that I've also arrived and go away. You want to leave there. That's exactly
I also came,
you also came to mark the register. That's exactly what is happening. So we cannot continue to use those excuses.
Okay.
We cannot continue, and for me, it's a late. I mean, people might use it, but I find it as a lazy. Let's be seen actively working to improve upon it. I'm not saying we should have a democracy that is like the UK democracy. We cannot, right? But we should be making arrangement. If an election that was conducted in Nigeria in 2000 and 23 cannot be an improvement upon what took place 2019, what took place 2015, actually, then we are joking, then we are failing. We must not be seen retrogressing. We must be seen progressing. So if 2015 we had challenges with our polls, ABC, 2019 want to see an improvement.
They will tell you that, look, 2019 they didn't use biometric machines. 2023 they used biometric machines. As what
was the need for biometric machine? The need for biometric machine was to ensure that there are cardinal principle, that key principles, one man one vote, is upheld and fulfilled by saying that you have to verify that you are the one who are coming to vote, number one, and once you have been verified through the system, you cannot go to another polling station again to vote. So it was meant and it was aimed at improving the system, because we complain of what? Multiple votes, that people are not verified enough. But actually, when you set those machines aside, when we get to a point where the INEC officials have removed the machines and sent empty cases to places, when you see that, look, the voting papers have actually been taken, and then the electoral commission officials themselves are not printing left and right. If they had a chance,
didn't turn up, so they are helping them.
If they had a chance to use their feet to tamper, then you cannot blame the biometric system.
Oh God!
Actually, you cannot blame the biometric system, and you cannot justify that with the number of years democracy has been in Nigeria. Actually, it's not true.
It's not. It's sad.
There's something very fundamentally wrong with us, and we must purpose within ourselves to be able to seek what is wrong with us, find it, and deal with it. If not, these excuses, actually, they're not going to take us anywhere. What the basic question? was, if we do a survey in Nigeria today, are we going to say that the democracy or the voting, the election that took place February 23rd or 25th or so, are we going to say that confidently we can hold our hands up and say it was an improvement over what we did in 2019? Archie, how you go to Ghana for the first time in the history of Ghana, we went for an election and people were shot dead. I mean, in this country, next week people are voting, right? We have been told London is not voting, so we're safe. They have complained that there are people who are not required to vote, but they go to vote. The law says that EU nationals who don't have settled status cannot vote. Commonwealth citizens, once you are in this country, whether you have status or don't have status, you can vote.
Once your name is on the register.
Provided your name is on register. Okay. Now you recall what happened at Tabiri. Voting and overvoting and whatever they. Now they are saying that going forward, the councils have put in place that in order to ensure that we do not have people moving from London Borough A, which we know they are not supposed to vote or they are not voting, we have a Labour Party or Conservative Party which has gone to use their own premises, register people multiply, and then help them to move from where they are just to go and vote and come. To be able to ensure that you have to produce an ID. That the name that we have on that
is the same.
That's the change. What is it meant to do to improve on this? Even that the old women and them, I said, look, they don't know me. I had one that said, look, I don't know where my is. If they go, they will not let me vote. I'll stand there. And an old woman said they're going to launch a protest.
You will let me vote. You don't know.
You see, according to them, according to that woman, what defines her right to vote in this country was not linked or has nothing to do with production of a photo ID. That at the time we were being told universal suffrage, ID cards that bear her photos
were not part
of it. And therefore, all they needed to do, they sent her postal card. If need be, her name is on there. And that's if there is their problem. If they cannot verify her, it's their problem. She has to vote. Are you getting me? Archie, we work to improve the system. But in Ghana, Africa mostly, we work to look at how do we break that the system so that it profits us. How do we break that? That's why I keep on saying when they are in opposition, they are very brilliant. When they come to government, they're rubbish. You cannot move from a head to tail just like that. You are not being tossed. The only way you can change that radically and rapidly is because internally you have switched what was driving you, your motivation to get into politics, to want to help. You say the right things to a point where you now say, how do I dismantle this system so that one, the Lord hasn't caught up with me? Okay, because some people are building a system that if you do something, the Lord catch up with you. I am building a system. How do you dismantle that they catch up with you? So that my cronies, we can move through it like buffaloes, bulldozer everything down. I mean, grazing everything out and out, so that even if the aunties or even what do you call the rabbits come after us, they will find nothing to eat. That's exactly what we do.
Wow, listeners, there's a Ghanaian musician who sang a song. I can't play that one. It says "Walk by Jackie." So we got very far, a long way to go. We come so far, yet we are nothing or nowhere near our goal. But what do you think? Feel free to share your take with us, and those of you on the YouTube, I can tell you that the YouTube is up. Yes, go back there and listen and watch us from there. Pass your comments or post your comments there, and I promise you one thing for sure, that we're going to read that. Okay, let's touch on this one, sorry, from Nigeria, and then we can move on from the updates. Now, the Supreme Court has granted leave to the federal government to file 9 new grounds of appeal against the release of Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra. The federal government, through its council, Tijani Ghazali, appealed to for leave to include 9 new grounds as part of its amended notice of appeal dated October 28, 2022. A 5-member panel of the court, led by John Okoro, granted the application at the court session on Thursday. Also at the hearing, Mike Ozekume, Kano's lead counsel, informed the panel of some application bordering on his client's bail based on deteriorating health. Now, he prayed the Apex Court to either grant the IPOB leader bail or order for his transfer to the Kuje Correctional Center, Abuja, pending the hearing and determination of the substantive appeal. However, the prosecution raised an objection, adding that the DSS facility is well equipped to cater to whatever health conditions Kano may be experiencing. After listening to the argument, the Apex Court panel advised Ozekume to withdraw his application to allow for a speedy hearing of the main suit. Now, this Kano case has gone on. Now, after his rendition and everything, the DSS being a law unto themselves, going to the courts. Now, the court said that no, we don't see anything wrong. So they just virtually find him, let me put it that way, not guilty. Or they quashed the case and said, let him go. And they've been holding on to him. Now, we thought that the elections coming on would have been something that maybe for peace to prevail, maybe the president will say, look, I'm giving you Kano. Let's have some peace in the southeast. That didn't happen. Now, we have the health of Nnamdi Kano deteriorating.
Yeah.
And still, they're still finding some, like you would say, giving a dog a bad name so that we can still get him to hang him. Now, what more can be done here?
Actually, in my view, we do not have the full set of facts that the court might have relied on in making a decision. However, we can make some speculations based on the treatment we know they've given Nnamdi Kanu over the years. Actually, in my view, I think this is a state using a huge hammer to basically, a bull cracking hammer to basically strike an ant. And again, I fear that the court system is being abused. What happened to the first call judgment? Because one would have expected that, okay, the rule of law must be what we all strive to basically respect when some of this happen. If they had even arrested him based on the court order and then rearrest him
after his release,
one would have said that, okay, we think that the court orders were respected. But for me, the very fact that they refused to do that is of concern to me. They took the law into their own hands, disrespected the judiciary, and went ahead to even use that same judiciary to justify their action. Then you begin to question, at what point did the Supreme Court know that? Because the matter produced more evidence. Why were they not putting those evidence before the High Court? So on one hand, the courts are right. In the other hand, the courts are the Supreme Court is a sole interpreter, or they are alone to themselves, because there are different ways of making laws in a country. Like a judgment from the Supreme Court becomes law automatically, whether you like it or not. So apart from the CIS that we have and the airlines that we have, the judgment from a Supreme Court automatically enters our books, which can be referred to, partially becomes law. So are we now saying that today, when the security apparatus have evidence, or they think in their own way that a potential or an alleged criminal is guilty or will be a potential danger to us, we might not be able to get him to us, even if a court issue an order, we should disrespect it? That is a question that we might have. That's the question, which I think is no. I think it's very unfortunate that this is going on, but actually it's part of the whole definition of why Africa and Nigeria must not happen to a lot of us.
Because Buhari did make before the campaign when he was being called upon to release him, and he says that, or to pardon him. That's what I heard some of them were saying. He said that no, he's not going to pardon. He wouldn't do that, but the court should take it full. Go it full court, and then once that is done, then he will decide on. So I was thinking that after the court had ruled that, he would have just said, let the man go.
Archie, he has no authority to do so. He can only pardon the person if the person has been convicted. But interfering with the works of what the security or the judicial is doing will be deemed bad. In my view. What would have expected him to do, though, to find out exactly what is going on in terms of why are the laws not being respected as they should? And in my view, that is where he failed. Because he must make sure, or it is part of his duty, to ensure that the laws are working to the extent that a group of people called DSS can decide when to respect and when not to respect the law. In my view, that is totally abuse of power. And they are doing it in his name because he's our chief in command.
Wow, listeners, that is the end of the updates from Nigeria. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. We're going to take a break, and once we come back, we'll continue with the show. But wherever you are, have you found what you're looking for? If you've not, well, you found Starr Radio UK. So stay with us. Don't you go away. Let's take a musical break, a commercial break, and I'll be with you. Stay tuned.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Your favorite favourite Afro-Caribbean radio station in the UK. Star Radio. Radio for the people, by the people.
Welcome back to the program. It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. As I did say, share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones and invite them to like our pages wherever you might be. All right then. So now let's crack on. Let's go to some of the other stories making the rounds on the African continent. And this time round, going straight, just picking on one story and then going straight to Ghana as well to look at some of the stories making the rounds there. Now, a quick one on that. The Sudan issue is going on. However, there's been another truce for another 72 hours. So we don't know what is going to be happening on that front. Do you think maybe if they are able to negotiate a truce, they can negotiate a peace?
I think so, because the truce window is normally when the diplomats and other people try to get in there to have discussions that are necessary. And I do believe that something good might come out of this. Apart from that, we really have to hope. But actually, on this Sudan issue, let me also use it to highlight something that we must all take note of. A doctor who has worked in this country for 4 years, who is not a British, was denied entry into the evacuation plane. This is a doctor who, like they are now using, the councils use COVID to justify everything they do. The government use COVID to justify their failures. The doctor was justifying that, was using COVID, saying that look, he worked through a COVID and he felt betrayed that even though he showed his permit, his working permit, he was turned away. Archie, the response from the authorities over here is that yes, he's allowed to enter the UK, but the evacuation procedure is solely for people with British passport, and therefore if he gets find his way to get to the border, they will admit him into the UK. However, it is not the responsibility of the British to go and bring him from where he resides or his country. He's gone there on holiday during the Eid and was caught up in this mess. Archie, that is very profound, because when you look at what Nnamdi Kanu issue, understandably he has a British passport.
Yeah, he has.
So the question therefore is, why are they acting, or based on this statement that when we are British we do everything? You take the issue of Mark Thatcher.
So how swiftly they went there to get him released.
Why is it, or why are we not doing same for Nnamdi Kanu? Two things, actually. They might disagree, but that's the fact. Are we having unconscious racism that is taking place here? Are we okay, let's assume the person was an European who has no British passport but has settled status or has permit to work in the UK. Would they have left the person? Because we know the French and the German soldiers were facilitating the evacuation of UK citizens. They're not having French or German passports. They are evacuating UK citizens. Is it because they are Europeans?
It could be.
So sometimes, look, my brothers and sisters, when you even have a British passport, then you in this country say, oh, I am a British, I'm a British. Your color undervalue that British
and that passport. Brings what Diana Abbott
was saying.
Not to cut you. Remember this woman, the woman who was arrested in Iran, Radcliffe, Mrs. Radcliffe.
Yeah.
Now, you saw how They did everything
to go.
Why haven't they got Nnamdi Kanu out? Because he also got dual citizen like this woman had.
That is it. So Archie, may I appeal to our brothers and sisters in this country, especially our children, who thinks because you have a book calling yourself a British,
yeah.
you are the same.
Yeah.
Please, no.
Nah lie.
There's what unspoken, unmentioned, something they do not want to us to know. That there's systemic discrimination that is ongoing. That whether you like it or not, you'll be able to, if you seek it, you'll find it in the way they conduct themselves and the way they do their things. No one can convince me otherwise. No single individual can convince me otherwise. Because from what is happening in Somalia alone, we know that a lot of people didn't have British passport, but they were being helped. And I asked the British, assuming we have a Slovenian, assuming we have someone from Ukraine, assuming we have someone from Portugal, assuming we have someone from even Latvia who has walked into that evacuation zone,
are they going to leave the person behind?
Would they leave the person behind?
No.
And if anything at all, haven't we learned from Hotel Rwanda?
Yeah.
That people, running away from conflict, the law says that they must be protected, they must be safeguarded. Actually, our leaders must think and think again.
But this is not like the Afghan. What did they even do? Where they were trying to get those who helped the British and the Western people from Afghanistan. There wasn't a war in Afghanistan because it was the Taliban who was taking over, and people were even trooping it. Yet, even that. But this is war. There is war. And this is somebody who has served you and is still got it. It's still serving you. Just going on for a break. So why can't you bring
people who are interpreters? We help them escape. But people who actually are still working. In fact, he's due on a shift Tuesday. He's supposed to be on a shift at Manchester and Infirmary on Tuesday. Well, actually, he has to find his way. Airport has been shut. No commercial airport. You cannot get out. Actually, we should learn.
Well, we have to learn. That's why when we say that you think that you are equal, all hands are not equal. All the fingers, they are not equal. So, well, it is Starr Radio UK. Let's move on quickly to Ghana as well. Now, I don't know. I know that you've been following the Adams Mahama case. I don't know. Was it before Akufo-Addo was voted into power?
Yeah.
And then when that incident happened, where an acid was thrown on Adam Mahama, and now they arrested Gregory Afoko and all those people. Now, how has the case been so far? I mean, for the sake of those who are listening to us,
this is a situation that happened in 2016. We had by then the chairman of the party, Afoko, Paul Afoko, who was ousted with Canada, with Kwabena Japan, and
chairman and general secretary.
And then there was another one who actually was asked with them. Now there was internal struggle to a point where one day we heard that this man has been attacked with acid. And according to those on it, according to what they are saying, that when he was, they were rushing him to us before he died. He was mentioning the name of Afoko. Afoko is also saying, look, I was not even around that area before all this happening. Now he was arrested again, put in bars. He's been in jail for years now. Archie, at the end of the day, we also had a court situation where it was ruled that he been released. The authorities in Ghana also refused, just like the way they did in Nnamdi Kanu's case, to release him. And now a judgment has been passed that in his case, Afoko's case, they had the judge, the judiciary, what they call the jury, they did not come to. In fact, it was 4-3 in his favor, and therefore a retrial must take place. Why they are going for a retrial, I don't know, but a retrial must take place instead of acquit.
Well, let me just ask you a question there. Is it the family that went back to the court for saying that no, we don't think that the first trial was fair?
No, the state.
The state.
The state now is going to call for a retrial.
A retrial.
The judge has ordered for a retrial anyway. A retrial will have to take place because a verdict. He has to. It wasn't clear whether he's guilty or not guilty. I mean, it was too tight. 4-3 in his favor was too tight. One would have said that, well, release him at least on bail.
Yeah, and then
yeah, but we know that's not going to happen. People have raised. You see, but Archie, you recall that's not the only incident that happened strangely and miraculously within that. Do you remember there was an aide to the vice president who also died in the hotel?
Yeah,
during that
I remember.
Time.
Yeah. When they went for a campaign and then he died.
Happened?
Yeah.
What has happened? Where the investigation? Oh, he just died.
They say natural causes.
Natural causes. Who established that? Who established that? Natural causes of what? Actually, natural causes from.
I've forgotten about him. I thought, they said natural causes.
But you remember?
I remember that.
That the guy died in his hotel room.
Yeah.
And we say he died in hotel room out of natural causes. Actually, let's move on.
Wow. Well, it's democracy, right? Rule of law. Okay. Well, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. Let me see one other story from Ghana, and then now price hikes. Guta has said that come Monday. Monday is the first. Yes, the prices of goods are going to go high. And I was saying that so they are preparing Ghanaians. And I'm saying whatever the person is getting or whatever the person has is what he has. It's not got more. I mean, I don't think people are better off before this government came into power. I think people are worse off.
Yeah.
So now, if Guta is also saying that, what should Ghanaians do? And what is the government? I mean, they're going boring. They are not calabash in hand. They are not getting anything though. But this is the warning that Guta
actually, we cannot blame Guta. At the end of the day, we know 3 taxes are going to take effect pretty shortly.
Yeah, from the first.
And what you're looking at is a direct response to what the implication or how those taxes would directly affect people. That's exactly what you experience. So it is not Guta. If they're going to be paying more at the port, if they're going to be paying more in whatever they do, then expect them to pass on what they call the price to who? The consumer.
Yeah.
So that's basically what we're going to see. So I mean, Ghanaians should have. We know that once those tax elements have been passed, we know that this is what is going to happen anyway. You know.
Okay. Well, enough for Ghana. Let's move on to the U.S. The former U.S. Vice President Mike Pence has testified as part of a criminal investigation into the alleged efforts by Donald Trump to overturn his defeat in the 2020 elections. Mr. Pence, 63, sat for more than 7 hours before a federal grand jury in Washington, D.C. Now, he was issued with a subpoena to testify under oath earlier this year. Now, the questioning by prosecutors took place behind closed doors. His appearance on Thursday came just hours after an appeals court rejected a last-ditch bid by Mr. Trump's legal team to stop Mr. Pence from testifying.
Yeah.
Now, Mr. Pence's lawyers had also sought unsuccessfully to challenge the subpoena, arguing that his role as president of the Senate during his time in office meant he had congressional immunity. Now, you know, there are lots of cases against Trump. Now, we have the House of Representatives that were doing their best to actually do something to somehow to stop him from going for another election. But do you think that this particular case, this hearing, the congressional thing, where some people, I mean, I've forgotten the name of that guy who is on who has left the Fox News, who was going on championing and trumpeting that Trump won the election, blah blah blah, and everything.
Starr or whatever they call it. Yes, I've forgotten the name.
Yeah. Do you think this is something that can bring, I mean, silence Trump forever?
Archie, if he can testify, which he has, and if the evidence that he's going to produce has any line to suggest that he had a direct contact
with Trump
contacted him directly not to go ahead to perform his constitutional mandated duty on that day, that will be direct interference. And that will be direct, and that is the clearest evidence whatsoever that will exist to say that you said you did not incite people to go and demonstrate. You say you were not directly involved in actually telling them go. You said you did not make phone calls directly to governors that you only need 3 votes. You only need 12,000 votes. You only need 2,000. Find me 12,000 and all that.
Yeah.
He was your vice president. If you picked up a call or you pick up a phone, walk to his office or whatsoever, and told him, man, look, we are buddies. I picked you as my descent. Let's do this together. Just look, they are finding me 200 votes. Can you not go ahead with approving this and accepting this for Biden to be accepted as the president? That for me, Archie, will be the nail on the coffin for Trump. Yeah.
But he's calling everything that is going on as a political witch hunt.
Well, if his vice is political witch hunting, then he's not fit for purpose. It's as simple as that.
Well, of course, he's the only one who can either betray you or stand by you. And
look, actually, that if you go, I mean, like we always say, you drive calm or your car is smashed, and you are telling me that everyone was targeting your car, and you are the only everything that they were driving.
All the drivers hate you.
All the drivers hate you. Then you have to check. Probably you were drunk and couldn't see exactly what was going on. All you woke up to see was that your car has been smashed left and right, and out of multiple knocks from cars, and you think that the driver hated you. That's why they drove into your car. You must be checked. And that is the situation Trump will find himself now. And you see, the vice president can also not hide the truth. If he dare attempts to hide the truth, actually, if it's a phone, there are evidence. For some of these people, they have evidence even before, because investigations would have taken place. A lot of questioning, because to invite a former vice president to testify before the jury is not an easy start.
Why was he also trying to, to overturn the subpoena so that he wouldn't go in? Why was he also trying to do that?
Look, he actually, if he had his way, there was no way he would have been there. Because at the end of the day, there is certain information that you wouldn't want to give out. But once you are sworn in before the jury, perjury comes. The charges of perjury comes. Look, it's like they hold the charges of perjury in front of you. This is a cross.
Yes.
Say the truth, or we hit you with it. That is what it is.
Just say the truth.
That is what it is, because you do not know the evidence they even have. So if you say anything contrary,
and they have evidence,
and they open your book of life, your book as a vice president, and say, Pence, you record that day, there was a call that came, Trump was on it, you received this call at this very hour, and they press the button. Is that your voice? Because AT&T or Horizon, the Horizon might have given them your voice. They might have given them the exact time your call. They might have even ordered, okay, can we look at the phone that you had at that time, subject to forensic examination? You never can tell. So, you prefer not to appear before God. Where your book of life will be open.
Wow. Listeners, start ready. We're going to be running up pretty soon. We've got about another 9 minutes. But there is a story. He's now a former Deputy Prime Minister, Dominic Raab, who stepped down, resigned last week. And all pertaining to sort of bullying. He says that, well, I have never bullied anybody with the cases that were brought, the charges that were brought against him. I mean, I think a couple of them or a few of them he fall short of. Okay, only two.
Yeah.
Now we have the health secretary as well, who seem to be seeing the same thing. But I've been asking the question. Now we live in a time where when I give you some work to do, and I'm expecting that you submit, you present that work to me by close of the day. And by close of the day, I've not got it. And I ask you, why haven't you? Because that's what I've employed you for, and I'm expected to get that. People take it that you are being either too stern, so I don't get it. There's a thin line, so I don't know whether to just do this, as we call them, snowflake generation, just do this, and if I close up the day you've not done it, why didn't you do that? Please tomorrow try to do that for me. If we do that, we're not going to go anywhere.
Yep. Archie, if management style is different, but Archie, when it gets to a point where coming to work is a burden, that moment I start off that I'm coming to work, I begin to shiver.
Because you come to meet Archie.
I'm coming to meet Archie Osibo. That I cannot tell what. I mean, in the first place, that work might not be good for me, for my health. You see, some of these cases, Archie, we're dealing with, again, I do not support the civil servants. A lot of them were just making flimsy excuses because where I am now, I mean, even yesterday, someone called me several times. Yeah. I didn't pick because 3 days ago, I was telling her what ought to be done in the office. Yeah, and she was wrapping her mouth, sent me messages. I just said, look, Nana, I don't want to have this conversation. I saw what she did yesterday, trying to impress me. She made errors. I went and deleted and deleted it so that public will not see it. And I'm not going to talk to her on this issue until I arrive. When I sit everybody around a table, project the screen, and say this. That's what they were doing. 5 days ago, again, I sat them down on Zoom on something. So it gets to a point for her for now. I know she's even worried. Oh yeah, because she's very close to me. Oh my goodness, this is unusual. Normally I'll check on them. But this is very unusual. I made her. She's like the team lead over there. Okay. So she's basically now will be thinking what could be going through Frank's mind. And he know I can be very, very, very tough when it comes to something. When it comes to work, I do not want it. So there are different things that could be going through people's mind. But you see, Archie, Raab was dealing with what you call a senior civil servants. Some of them are very senior civil servants. Most of these the two things that were found against him were within the time Brexit pressure. Do not forget at that very time there was pressure politically on them to achieve a political goal. Civil servants were warning against certain things that we know that with the benefit of hindsight shouldn't have been done. Their interest over there was to come out with the public statement, the deal has been done. Boris Johnson, deal have been done without details. And still we have the deal pending. Are you getting me? That for me was where I feel that the pressure on him to get things done the way to achieve political objectives, even those civil servants who are years ahead of him, who have worked with different prime ministers, might be stepping on his foot to say no. He thinks that gross subordination, and that might result in a bit of raising of a banking of table and other things. Actually, his environment sometimes the pressure to deliver. I think it was the pressure to deliver the Brexit.
There was an is it what do you call it, the school inspection thing, what do they call it, Ofsted, which had led to one headmistress dying. Okay, now so you get to a point again. Now there should be scrutiny, there should be accountability. Now if we say that, okay, let's everybody just do things the way you don't want your daughter to go to a school where they are not being scrutinized to make sure that they do everything according to the law or in the interest of the child. So in the same vein, if there is when we seem to put a bit of pressure, then people think that you are being too stern or too I don't get it.
Okay, you see, when we actually looking at schools, what we look for are the grades that the school are giving. Is an outstanding school? We say in an inadequate school, and a lot of us wouldn't want our parents, our children, to go to inadequate schools. Academic system, you might be the most brilliant guy, the most brilliant lady. You might get it one day wrong, and you are judged by a mark. A, B, C, D. That's how you are. That you got A. You got A plus.
Because of that mistake that you did.
Actually, I have had a situation when I was writing an exam, and I went blank. Actually, not that I didn't know. Actually, I hadn't slept.
I know that.
I went blank. That I just told this invigilators that and thank God it was school exam, it was a mock exam. I just told them, sorry, I can't. They said, Fran, what is wrong with you? I said no. And
I also did that in the mock. Listen, I just walked because I couldn't. My brain was. I was like,
and that was the best subject for me, mathematics, and I spent the whole night teaching people on it. So when I got, actually, I just went blank. Had it not been that my teachers knew who I was, and knew my record, and can go to my work, my continuous assessment, that mock exam, because I couldn't write. Actually, I went blank.
Brain fog.
It's happened to me before. When you're going to be assessed using 1 day, 1, 2 days, 3 days, and assuming mock is the only way to determine what I can do with the maths, I would have failed. I would have been a useless person. So assuming they were looking for best student to come and write mathematics for which they would have been upgraded or given the school would have won, I would have failed my school. Because I would have gone, and people who might be conducting that exam wouldn't know anything about me. The school would have sent me out. The best math student.
Where did he even write his name?
He couldn't even write his name. I would have been rubbish. So you then will have that. What Ofsted does, and I think it's very important. Their job is really, really important. They have to, but I think they have to upgrade the way the conclusions are drawn.
Okay.
Look, describing the school as inadequate. Inadequate in what? It is all of us that are going to have a time to read the whole report. It's not all of us that are going to have the school to basically read the whole report. So those simple sentences that describe what teachers have labored. Sometimes we use 3 days preparing that for that examination. And again, you see, as invigilators or inspectors, who knows the state of your mind before you go there? So who watches the investigator? The invigilator. The supervisor, who watches him? We have a system.
He's watching you.
We have a system.
Nobody to watch.
In my view, actually, this is what I'll propose if I have to have my way. That before you come to the conclusion, at least you should have no less than 3 different inspections.
Okay.
Coming from different
continuous assessment.
Assessment. Coming from different what they call investigators, or what they call those who go to investigate or review inspectors. That Inspector Archie had gone, they've concluded their report, they submit it. Inspector Francis had gone, Inspector Tuabuani has gone, Inspector Baumia has gone, and all those people. Based on that, was that submit your independent report. And after the time I'm going, after the time, you don't share your report with me.
Yeah.
I don't share my report with me. We meet and then we're able to compare notes and we say this is it. That way there's a bit of but if I get that my girlfriend and get me and today I'm coming to ask money from what do you call it? What do you call it? The money man. And the money man tells me that, Frank, I can see your face that no, you are not correct. If I give you this money, you go and drink and pew. Why should I judge him that he was wicked?
Okay. We'll
Good morning.
Go Phyllis has come on the line, so let's go to Phyllis. Phyllis, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Can I make it snappy?
Yes, do.
Right. Big issues about people complaining about bullying.
Yeah.
I think you have to remember that for most people, I don't know about the younger generation who are getting into work, but for most people of a certain age, this is just not a one-off. Before somebody decides that they're going to report somebody, particularly their bosses of bullying, there would have been many instances in which in some cases they would have simply ignored, because most genius know what the consequences of these things are, even if you get a decision in your favor.
Yeah.
It becomes almost impossible for you to continue to work with that organization, certainly with that department. I don't know whether you've had the opportunity to listen to people who are taking issues to employment tribunals before.
Yeah.
Sometimes even when the tribunals have authorized that these individuals should be reinstated into their jobs, it's not possible. Because usually it is not big bosses who report genius for bullying. It's the other way around. It's always genius who find themselves in the situation being, excuse my language here, being bullied by big bosses. And the consequences are not easy. So most people, they either live with it until such time they can't take it anymore and then they leave the organization. So it's just a handful of people who actually brave it out to come out and report these things. Then they know what the consequences are. So nobody will come to the level of reporting somebody as, the prime minister of a country with accusations of this nature. A lot of things would have gone on, and personally, I am not surprised, because just sometimes listen to the way these people speak, even live on television in the Houses of Commons.
Yeah.
To their peers. Look at the arrogant way with which sometimes they dismiss the leader of the opposition or other MPs of different parties. Now, if they can do this in public, knowing very well, conscious of the fact that the country is watching them live, you can imagine what goes on in the background where there is no camera, where maybe you are not even allowed to have your mobile phone on, and things like that, where it's going to be very difficult for you to pinpoint any audio visual record of what may have transpired. And remember, she's not the only one. Remember the previous Home Secretary, Patel.
Pretty.
But on numerous occasions there were these allegations thrown out there. So it cannot be the case that all these geniuses in these different Whitehall departments are all coming up with something out of a night of drinking whatever they must have drunk. It's not some issue of people having some delusional minds, because whether it's in the private sector or the state sector, it's not easy for genius to report these things, even in this day and age where there's significant legislation to protect the individual. And most people, when they find themselves in this situation, you have two choices. You either quit and live and save yourself, your health, and maybe take the consequences of having to lose income for a good number of months or maybe even a good number of years till you get another alternative or suitable job. Or you stay on and then your health compromises. That is look, it's not a if you were to open the phone line for people who have gone through some of these sort of things, a lot of them will even come on the show on the proviso that you don't disclose their name.
It's true.
And who they are. And it happens all over the place. It happens all over the place, particularly when you are working with some of these people who think that they are so indispensable, they are so powerful. Who are you to report anything against them.
Yeah.
Nothing will happen.
Yeah.
Even if you report
sense of entitlement.
Exactly. So personally, I'm not surprised that these things have come up. Of course, he knows people in high places who some way somehow will be able to get on major media networks to either dilute the consequences of whatever he may have done, or at least portray a certain image of him after a few weeks when things die down a little bit. But this is a government in power that this is not coming once in a blue moon, but it seems like it's a
culture. Sort of.
It's a culture that is permitted within the party that is running government at the moment, and who knows, maybe at Conservative Party headquarters as well. I mean, we shouldn't be surprised about these things. And the problem you have with political parties are that they are not like the Chartered Institute of Engineers or accountants or journalists. There's no any independent scrutiny of who gets into a political party.
Yeah.
Globally, that seems to be the trend. So anybody with any questionable character gets into a political party, and provided the person can get you the votes, they just go through, and in a few years it becomes one of the top guys, and then all of these things start falling apart left, right, and center. You know, whether it's extramarital affairs or bullying in the office, all sorts of things, or tax obligations that they, Zahavi, the one.
Yeah.
Yes, he was on radio all the time, television all the time. Apparently, he also had issues with his tax obligations.
Yeah.
So, well, good luck to those who are working under these people. And I hope that if they can find some alternative means of employment, they should seek for those alternative means of employment. Regarding the pressures on schools and school head teachers, look, this can be a societal problem that we are expecting head teachers to address. Remember that some of these head teachers are managing schools, but sometimes in some areas, even parents, for whatever the reason may be, I'm not saying that some parents are irresponsible, but for whatever the reason may be, they are not able to invest a lot of time into how their children are doing at school.
Yeah.
And the head teacher and his or a team of teachers and administrators are supposed to sort these things out. The head teachers can only do so much. If you have parents at home who maybe can't read, can't write, or are not interested in how their children are doing at school, there's only so much the teachers can do. Some schools do well. It's not because the teachers there are super ordinary teachers. It's just because the parents have active involvement.
That's right.
In how their children are doing at school. They're making sure the homework is done. Sometimes parents themselves are taking extra classes so that they will be able to help their children at school. Because maybe the parent, him or herself, may not have been good at mathematics.
Yeah.
So maybe at the age of 10, they're already struggling to help their own child at school with return to math assignments and things like that. But you can go to other communities as well where the parents themselves are not interested. Even the kind of language they use at school, they use at home, would not be the kind of language that is permissible within the classroom.
Yeah.
What do you expect the head teacher to do? If you have a child who is coming from a home where mom and dad, foul words come out of their mouth as if the way you say good morning to people, and the child comes to school and that sort of language is what is coming out of his or her mouth, what really do you expect the head teacher to do? If parents are not waking up on time because, for whatever the reason may be, the children are not being asked to get out of bed on time so that they can show up at school on time in the morning, what do you expect the head teacher to do? Go around knocking at the doors of these parents and tell them that, look, little Chloe should go to bed before 9 p.m. so that they can wake up on time in the morning. That little Chloe should not be on the phone at 2 a.m. in the morning chatting with her friends. And then when she comes to school in the morning, she's, her eyes are red and sleeping all over the place and can't pay attention, can't follow what is going on in the class. What do you expect the head teacher to do? Have a good day.
Thank you very much, Felix. he will be a very good head teacher or inspector. He will help the teachers, you know. Well, but interestingly, before we round up the first part of the program, the now deputy prime minister has said, that's Oliver Dowden said, Mr. Rapp's exit after a bullying inquiry should not stop ministers holding officials to account.
Well, that is true. You cannot stop, because that will also be that you're not doing your job as is expected of you. The balance is where the issue is. And like Felix rightly said, Archie, these reports cannot be cannot just be one off. Like, I mean, I think the lady I'm dealing with now, if it continues for a long time, I either know either she's not ready to learn, or probably it will be that I am not doing my job properly, because I should be able to communicate with her to be able to understand that this is what this is what I want, what is what is expected of you. Sometimes you want to, show a bit of, strong, be firm that this is what you should do. Yet now today, for instance, she look at what she did and I deleted as not right, therefore she begins to think. So when the next time I have to engage her will be, let's sit down, get this person together, let's just do the right way, this is what I want done. But when you have a situation where instead of saying, go get it done, banking the table and they saying,
taking the bag,
I used to have a lecturer, I used to have one lecturer, Professor J. When you write a dissertation, when you take it, say no, redo, recast. You know explain, he just take red pen, circle it and say redo, recast, and then you then are left confused. As to exactly
what do you really want?
What do you want me to recast? What do you want me to redo? The whole show. Are you getting me? So I do not think that it should stop the minister from doing what they ought to do. But we can also have a Brahma kind of attitude in offices where you think that all you know, insult people at will, call people who might not. I can see how this woman might look at someone in office and tell you are useless, ignorant fool. She will eat you, because the kind of comments
that she's been making,
calling Iraqis what they call the Syrians, the people who are fleeing war. So we are saying today that Sudan now, should I go with my private plane and drop people in France, and they decide to take a boat and come here, or probably they decide the Atlantic Ocean, you are our friend, we'll say, and then you tell them they are criminals just by the fact that they arrived here as asylum seekers. They are criminals. Actually, reports even tells us that when you do have these asylum seekers, crime, and even crime among immigrants is lower than crime among this. So you will not name the place, but you insult all of us. That because we are illegal immigrants, we were once illegal. So anybody who has arrived here has been even illegal one day, you are a criminal.
Default.
Is it interesting? Is it these empty heads people? And they head mistress.
No, I look at that.
They head mistress.
I look at her quietly.
So you, Ogbedeke, doesn't know where we come from. You see, Archie, I just hope that the relationship. But for me, I think I read part of the report, and I think the judge did the judge was very, very meticulous. Very, very, very meticulous. Report asking you, look, at the point it became a judgment call. He read the report in such a way that, look, he poses a question, and then it's up to you to decide whether what he's saying, whether you agree. He gave you the evidence, what was told, the reported this in, what his opinion is, and he tells you,
say, now you also
judge. If you think that, according to this information, if you think that I am wrong, jump to page this and then don't read the rest. But if you think that I am right, then continue reading from the other page and understand more about why my judgment or my observation is this. Was thorough. So let's hope that Bravman and others, I cannot wait for her to be reported.
She'll be listening. You are advocating for that to happen to her.
I'm not bullying her. I'm just telling her the truth.
Well, Rich Monk says that with that culture, I don't think we'll be going far.
She told her.
No. He thinks that it's good for people to be stern and be banging. He's old school. King James version. What do you think?
My St. Andrew King James. That man. Yeah, but actually, it's the arrogance of power.
Yeah.
It's the arrogance of power.
The way they talk.
It's the arrogance of power. And I wish we get to a point where society begins to function that way in our part of the world. Actually, in our part of the world is bad, and especially when it comes to sexual this and where you are bullied into
demands.
You are bullied to sexually submit. It's bad. It's bad. I mean, sometimes when you get evidence, there's a very good international company in Ghana. I'm instigating the ladies over there I'm instigating them to be able to report, because the culture that is in that company, I know for 100% it's an international company. I mean, headquarters in the US. If they know of what is going on over there, most of the senior staff will be sacked in that company. But that is what it goes on there. National service people go. You either have to sleep with the managers. Actually, it's bad. It's bad. I'm working with some of them now.
The other time, a friend, you know the friend, and she was telling me their sister in Ghana, the company that she works with, which I will not mention as well. Now she is supposed to be promoted to the next.
She will not get.
And this person is pushing, and she said that she won't.
Yeah. Actually, it's bad. During an interview, I was asking one girl, "Why did you leave this company?" So, do you want to know the truth? I said yes. I said, "Can I ask a favor?" I said yes. "Can I ask ABCD to leave this place, and can I have you and this person in there if you want to know the truth?" I said yes. I said, "Why do you want these two people to?" I said, "I don't feel confident enough to tell you what I'm about saying." Now, and then me and one of my colleagues started saying, "Look, this is what I have to go through on a daily basis. You know that wasn't good. I was adjudged to even went for an exam. I was the best. This I can show text message, pull the phone out, show text messages, WhatsApp messages of harassment, explicit messages."
Wow.
To a point where men have to even take pictures of this and send to her.
Wow.
Conditions being given. If you really want the job, let's meet here at this time. So actually, I was furious. I mean, my mindset, actually, I don't even hug, I don't even shake women, ladies that are. I don't want to know.
Yeah.
So some people call me, "Are you a human being?" I'm a human being, but love prevention is better than curing. I do not want questions tomorrow, and I don't want to be answering anything. I do not want to know. So I said, "Why haven't you reported?" I said, "Who do you report to?" That's the first question. So I said, "Do you still have friends over there?" I said, "Look, I do. Some have given in. They're still there." I said, "Okay, you know what? Contact them. This is a company. They are an international company. Cost to be established and invested." Look, actually, to be honest, I went to a point of trying to plant a lady in the company. Because it is bad. It is bad. Now, look at it this way. Assuming you employ someone, or the person's post or their job is linked to sexual satisfaction, how do you expect them to perform?
This one.
So
they're supposed to come. They are not in.
Part of the problem we have in Africa when companies are not producing, are not performing, is because of the people in charge of the companies, the culture, the mindset, and then you can begin. If they report this and it becomes news, how is the media going to react? Your fellow ladies, how are they going to treat you?
They're going to come against you.
To noise. You'll be purging. What through no be family. Are you getting me? It's kind of a culture. It's now become known that. So even people who get certain position by merit are not regarded.
Yeah.
So if you talk to this lady I'm talking to you now, for her, she sees all the ladies in that company as having got their position for sleeping with men in that position. That a mindset.
I was listening to, normally I don't we do monitor stories making the runs, and I was listening to one of the Ghana's radio stations, and there was a music that they were playing. The lyrics, I think I was sleeping briefly, and and the lyrics that the person was using is like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm here, I'm going to like using my body to get that. So I was asking myself, is that the culture that has been painted in that part of the world that is the only way? Or is it because it has been created? And
even here, it is done. Our friend has to leave a position in this country. But you see, here people know the boundaries. We saw what happened with the former health minister. That one wasn't what happened between them. You see, I do not have a response. I do not have a problem with bosses having a relationship with their juniors. In certain companies, it's unacceptable. If you look at what has happened at Concourse, the manager over there had to leave. The woman did not report that there was abuse or anything, but the mere fact that there was a relationship. If I have my own company, I will not tolerate the relationship between the certain key positions and the junior officer working in that company, because you then begin to, we are in a telecom company. Someone working on invoice and the technical person, I will never accept a relationship between them. They have to leave. The reason, you might be able to create an invoice, right? Override that invoice, and the technical person can let it, because you supposed to indicate certain actions for a technical person to take. Are you getting me? So that relationship, I will never accept it, because it compromises certain things, decisions that can be taken. Are you getting me? Certain companies, no. But I personally, I do not have a problem, provided it is not being used as a bullying tactics that you must sleep with me before it becomes like your help or your job depends on you satisfying your boss with sex. That is a no. But if naturally the two of you get hooked, personally, I have no problem. You meet a relationship develops as a direct result of people meeting each other and other. But if it's going to be like, do this and I do this, let me sleep with you and I appoint you, do this and I will not. If I like a lady, provided once she's working for me or she's working close to me, that interest is gone. I'll suppress my interest in her for the greater good, because I never want. No. I wouldn't compromise myself. But that is me. You can call me a man, but I do have certain principles, because I nearly became a victim of circumstances by having a relationship with someone at work who was accusing me. I wasn't in a power play position. We are the same level, but the very fact that we're having a relationship, and I did it. I left the company. I will never encourage that and advise anyone to do it.
Well, listeners, we have to bring the program to a close. Unfortunately, the money man said that we should take his time, so we took his time.
We took. Money man, thank you very much. You refused to come and give me the money. You see, I told you.
well, but we'll not be here on Monday because it's a bank holiday. We want you to do every activity, but then we will be back on Tuesday, God willing, where we'll be having Mr. Olayomi and full house, as I would say all the time, looking at everything that it would have made the rounds over the period. So on that note, I want to say thank you very, very much, Samsudin. Thank you very much for the comments as well. There it says Yoruba Nation, no going back. Yes. We hope that you are all doing very, very well. So enjoy this music, and when it ends and you don't hear from us, it's with me, Archie, Mr. Frank David, Mr. Olayomi, Mr. Dan Tabiri, our own Mr. Francis Gaye, and all the way Nabedin Felix, who joined us as well. We say bye-bye for now. Roots Riders says small axe. Are you a small axe? Hew down the big tree. Bye-bye for now.
Radio UK.
The best radio show. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening.
Why boasted ourselves, oh evil man? Playing smart and not being clever. Oh no, I said you working iniquity to achieve vanity. If I saw of the goodness of Jaja, I endure it forever. So if you want a victory, let me tell you that we are the small axe, ready to cut you down.
Thanks for listening.
Cut you down. One more time. So if you are the victory, oh Lord, we are the small axe, stop and ready to cut you down. Well, sharp and to cut you down. These are the words of my master. Keep on telling you, yeah. Oh, we work hard, shall prosper. Hey. And whosoever diggeth a pit shall fall in it, yeah. Fall in it, oh Lord. And whosoever diggeth a pit shall bury in it, shall bury in it. So if you are the victory, we are the small axe, up and ready to cut you down. World sharp and to cut you down. And whosoever diggeth a pit, Lord, shall fall in it, oh Lord. And whosoever diggeth